Social Angle, a podcast that helps promo pros gain an edge in the social media realm. I'm digital content director Vinny Driscoll, and on this episode, I am joined by Christine Fisher of American Solutions for Business to discuss how she uses social media to target the automotive industry. Christine, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big fan of yours on social media. We'll get to that in a minute. But what's the weather like out in Minnesota today?
It is a gorgeous day. It's already 78 degrees, sunny, barely a cloud in the sky. It's going to be a good day.
And it's weird because you're in Minnesota, and wasn't it snowing like a couple weeks ago in Minnesota?
Yeah, we didn't have green grass and couldn't see the ground like 3 weeks ago. So,
Schizophrenic weather up in Minnesota
yes.
for sure. I know a lot of people in this industry from Minnesota, and I see their posts on social media all the time. When it snows in months like May, we didn't get any snow this year in the Philadelphia area. None. We had maybe a coating. So when I see videos of snow in Minnesota in May, I'm really jealous of you guys. You guys definitely get snow, and I don't know, maybe we'll never see snow again here in the Philadelphia area. But Christine, before we get started, can you take a moment to introduce yourself, give a brief intro, and how you found yourself in this industry?
So my name's Christine Fisher. As you mentioned, I am with American Solutions for Business. I have been with the company, it'll be 8 years, the end of June. So I'm the director of automotive programs here. We have focused vertical markets in a few different markets, and one of them happens to be automotive. I've always been in this department, just in a couple different roles. I assist our sales associates in targeting basically any business in the automotive industry or anything that has an engine and wheels, I always say. So, your traditional car dealerships, RV dealerships, power sports, manufacturers. Also, a lot of people don't think about automotive when they think of like farm equipment dealerships, but
Hmm.
we focus on those as well.
Okay.
How I came into this industry is I live in Glenwood, where American Solutions for
Hmm.
Business is headquartered. So it's a little town right in the middle of the state that almost nobody's ever heard of. And I went to college for business management and marketing for the purpose of opening up an auto repair shop because my husband is an auto mechanic by
Okay.
trade. And I worked in the automotive industry for several years. I actually graduated from college right around the 2008 financial crisis,
Oh,
and so that
okay.
kind of derailed our original plans.
Right.
And I worked for Hertz Rent a Car for 3.5 years inside of a dealership, so I got to know that space very well. And a job opportunity opened up at American Solutions for Business. I had a few friends who were working here, and I wanted to be working closer to home, and the rest is history. So ironically, I hadn't heard about this industry in college at all.
Hmm.
So it was my first introduction was actually starting the job. And my family would ask me, "What are you going to be doing now?" And for like the first 2 months, I was like, "I have no idea."
Right. Right. I mean, it's a very common theme when I talk to people in this industry that a lot of people when they join they've never heard of the industry. They know
Mhm.
about promotional products. When you tell them this is a promotional product, they think it's just swag, they call it. But then
Right.
they learn more about the industry once they join. I was in the same situation when I joined ASI in 2007. Didn't know there was an industry, a multi-billion-dollar industry attached to it. And I've been in the industry ever since, 15 years now. So it's pretty amazing when you hear the stories of how people got into the industry, because a lot of times, like yourself, you get into the industry almost by accident. You don't really
Right.
know much about it. You just kind of get into that space, and you're like, kind of it opens your eyes to the opportunity and how impressive and large this industry is. Um, so you call yourself the auto marketing chick on your social media, especially on TikTok. So you've been in this niche, you said, for 8 years now. You said,
Yes.
okay.
Mhm.
Now, are you indeed a car chick?
Oh yeah. So everybody in my family, pretty much on both sides, is either mechanic, truck driver, something to do with the automotive related
Right,
field.
right,
And I have only brothers. So I just grew up loving cars. Uh, to this day, my husband and I are constantly like sharing Facebook Marketplace posts of
sure.
older vehicles that we're interested in buying, and we
Oh
flip
wow.
cars for kind of like a little side gig.
Oh
So
nice.
yeah.
So what's your favorite car?
So I have like a long list of cars that I love, but if you pinned me down and said you have to name a favorite one, it would probably be like a 1967 GTO.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that they're just I love the styling on them. My favorite one would be from the movie Bandits. He
Okay.
had a red one, and I really liked that.
Oh,
So.
wow. That's a great car. I mean, I liked the older cars too. I could name a few, but one I'm going to obviously talk about just a little bit is the '63 Corvette Stingray. Obviously, I think it's one of the most adored cars in history. Certainly one that whenever I see one on the road, I'm like, one day I might have that. But
Well, you know they're a good car when they're in all of the classic car
yeah,
calendars ever available.
definitely, definitely. And they're just such a nice looking car, so different.
Mhm.
So let's talk shop here. Let's talk about the M buyers. What kinds of products do M buyers in this market tend to prefer, and what are some creative ways you've used to target the market and more specifically the dealerships?
Yeah, in a lot of cases, it's going to be automotive accessories,
Hmm.
especially since our main customer is car dealerships, especially new car dealerships. It's going to be things like trunk organizers, safety
Hmm.
kits, car escape tools, drinkware, of course, because everybody likes to have their
Sure.
mug or their cup in the car. So I've recently started a series, probably about 8 months ago, where I just started talking about promotional products that I've found very useful and I use in my daily life. And a lot of them are centered around being used in the car or being used at home. So I make
Right.
it known that, hey, I work in this industry. I see a lot of these products coming through, and these are the ones that I keep because I find them useful, even though I have all these products coming my way all the time. These are the ones that I've had for months, years, and this is how I use them.
Yeah, so you mentioned what you're doing on social media, and this is what I really wanted to talk about because I noticed you on TikTok. I think TikTok is where I'm starting to notice a lot of people in this industry doing really great things, clever things, fun things, and you were one of the people that I noticed uh, because I follow your account from ASI, and I've noticed that you create a lot of content. This is probably the network that you spend the most time in for a business, and you're creating content that's not only, like I said, fun, but it's useful information. Can you talk a little bit about what you do on TikTok and to a lesser extent on Instagram, where you kind of integrate your business into the strategy of your social media platform?
Yeah. So you're definitely right. TikTok is my preferred platform. I kind of begrudgingly like migrate all of my TikTok videos over to Instagram because TikTok is where my end audience is, and Instagram is where my fellow colleagues are.
Hmm.
And so I just like to share what I've done on TikTok to hopefully help them out, and generate ideas for them as well, and to keep in touch with our suppliers as well. So the content that I like to consume on TikTok is something that either teaches me something new or makes me laugh. And so I thought maybe I should just work on creating content that's relevant to what I want to talk about. If you follow any sort of social media kind of advice columns or anything like that, they're going to tell you, especially on TikTok, pick a niche. Because if you
Hmm.
try to talk about a hundred different things, you're just not going to get seen as well. So my niche is automotive promotional products and print products. Um, and so I thought if I can make whoever sees it laugh, or teach them something new or do both, that's even better. That's the content that I want to create. And so the main approach that I use is, for lack of a better term, meme culture.
Hmm.
So a lot of people think memes are just a graphic with words on it, and while those are also memes, memes are just a joke, an inside joke, or part of pop culture that everybody gravitates towards. And TikTok specifically uses like sounds
Hmm.
or videos to make a certain joke, and so I see content from other creators, and I try to infuse that joke into my world. Like, can I make something
Sure.
funny out of this sound or this phrase, that or a video sketch that somebody else did, and that has been kind of my approach using TikTok.
Now, you mentioned that your your target audience is on TikTok. Can you
Mhm.
talk a little bit more about that? Because that's not something I hear, particularly from people in this industry, that they know that their audience is on TikTok. I mean, right now, I think most audiences are to a lesser extent, but as a business, not so much. They're more consuming content because they're looking to have fun. But you know that your target audience is on TikTok. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so my goal whenever I joined TikTok was to create more awareness that American Solutions for Business exists to car dealerships.
Hmm.
And every single car dealership on the face of the planet, but especially in the United States, has a TikTok channel because they're also trying to engage car buyers and create
Interesting.
awareness that they exist. And so, the first thing that I did whenever I joined TikTok was I started searching like car talk,
Hmm.
CARTOK, and dealership videos would come up. I also follow a lot of like auto mechanics that work at car dealerships, because they tend to make a lot of funny jokes
Right,
that
right, right.
I understand. But a lot of people will tell you that you don't want your following count to be higher than your follower count,
Hmm.
but I threw that out the window
Right, right,
100%.
right.
So if you look at my follower count, it's like maybe half or a third of what my following count is. Every time I come across a car dealership, I just hit the follow button instinctively.
Hmm.
And so those are the folks that I want to see my videos so that they can get ideas about, like, if they want to do a new marketing campaign, that hopefully they will think of us and me because they saw something of mine. Also, I they put out a lot of content where they're trying to engage the
Hmm.
person seeing. So they might ask like, "What's your favorite song to listen to in the car?" or something like that.
Right,
And I make a point to try to engage with that content, not only so that they become aware of me, but also that it will push their videos up in the algorithm. So I'm
right,
trying to help them use their social media
right.
to get their message across.
So I have a follow up to that,
Yeah,
and it's two parts. So one, how do you get them to realize that you're engaging with their content? So I know there's different ways that you can kind of create
sure.
content. You could stitch content on TikTok. You could also duet content on TikTok. And B, um, how do they how do like the realization of that they're now being sold to, like you want to sell to them, right? They're on TikTok to sell to somebody else. Like how do they differentiate what you're trying to do versus what they're trying to do?
So I think it's actually a mesh, because what I'm trying to do is sell to them without making it obvious that I'm selling to them,
Right.
right? Just make the American Solutions for Business and promotional products more specifically ingrained in their brain, because just like we who are in the industry typically didn't know that it even existed until we became a part of it.
Right. Right.
A lot of especially younger folks who tend to be the ones who are managing these dealership accounts on TikTok, they don't know that it exists and that they could mesh their online presence with a promotional products presence inside of their dealership. And so the best way I've found to interact with them is stitching,
Okay.
especially if it's content where they're asking you a direct question.
Okay.
um, but if you can't find a creative way to stitch and make your own content that's relevant to what you're stitching essentially, even just commenting pushes them further up into the algorithm. So, or liking their posts. Like it doesn't, I mean, most of the time I actually do like the content
Right.
that they're
Right.
putting out, but it doesn't take much to give them a heart. And so helping them escalate their position in the algorithm
Right. Right. Right.
is not only beneficial to them, it's also beneficial to you because they're seeing your account name
Right.
um whenever you like their video or comment on their video. And a lot of times what you'll see is on TikTok that if they like you and this is the first time that you're interacting with them, you'll see their name pop up that they also viewed your profile.
And that's always a good thing. Now, how often or how likely is it that the people that are managing these TikTok accounts and creating content are actually the decision makers in, you know, doing business with a distributor? Do you find that that's more likely or less likely?
I would say that it's probably less likely just because a lot of the folks who are working for a dealership that are managing the TikTok accounts, they're probably part of a larger marketing team,
Okay.
but they're like specifically the social media account
Hmm.
managers. But what it does is it puts a bug in their ear that when they get together with their larger team and they're talking about their strategy, because they will for sure have a supervisor who's in that buying position for promotional products, that hopefully they'll be like, hey, did you know about this? And so it's more of a referral
Sure.
uh, situation.
So, have you gotten any sales that you could directly track to your social media game?
I don't think that I can personally attach a sale to my social media game. I know that we have sales associates that I assist that have posted. Our marketing team does a great job of making like Instagram friendly and
Hmm.
Facebook friendly product showcases and case studies and things like that that I know that they can attach specific ROI to. I think that TikTok, especially, and then when it comes to like reels on Instagram, I think that you're going to find they're a lot like radio or television advertising, where you might not necessarily be able to attach a distinct ROI to them. However, what I will say is because I'm in more of a sales support role, I think if a sales associate, somebody who's directly working with these dealerships or any other type of business in the promotional products or print role, that if they were to take a similar approach or maybe even share some of my product specific videos, that they might be able to attach a specific ROI, like they would potentially get a sale off of. Just as an example, I did a video once on a insulated soft bag cooler
Hmm.
that I keep in my car all the time. If a sales associate of ours were to share that content with a dealership that they work with, there's a good chance that that dealership would find value and
Okay.
order
Yeah.
specifically off of that.
Yeah. There's a lot of gray area i- at this current time in this industry and probably outside of the industry about how you can track social media to a sale. It's, do we have verifiable proof? A lot of people don't. A lot of people do, but I think for the most part, a lot of it is brand awareness. It's staying top of mind. It's making sure that people think of you when they have a problem that they need a solution for, and that I think is where the value of social media lies. Now, we talked earlier about your creation of content on TikTok, and what you do is you really you look at memes, you follow trends, you jump on anything that's trending on TikTok. And for anyone who's been on TikTok, there's always very similar types of content that will pop up that's popular, whether or not they're playing off of a sound, any type of visuals that might be popular at the time. Now, you are doing social media the way I've been preaching people should be doing social media, and that's having fun. Make sure that you're actually being a human first. You're having fun. You're using social media um, as almost an outlet. You want to get away from work. You go to social media, have a little bit of fun. If you can incorporate what you do, work into what you're doing on social media, that's a winning formula. Would you recommend this approach, having fun, being human, to people who are just starting out? And if so, how would you do that? How would you recommend people do that?
Oh, 100%. So I get the most content interaction from when I'm making a joke or when I'm telling a story. I started doing a story time talking about some of the great people that I've come across in the industry, just being here for so long, because our industry is filled with great people, and so I want to share these stories. And those are the videos that I get the most interaction on. And so I would say definitely show your human side. Don't make it about selling because people don't come to TikTok to be sold or Instagram to be sold. They
Right.
they come to be entertained. And so whatever content you're making, make it entertaining and you can make selling videos entertaining. You just have to put some thought into it and don't like don't nothing has to be perfect.
Right.
Get a lot of comments from our sales associates who follow me and they're like, you must never sleep because you put out all this content. And I'm like, no, that video took me like 5 minutes to make. It's the shortening the pauses in between the clips and everything
Sure.
that it takes a little bit of time and putting the text on the video, but I'm not concerned about like, is the lighting right, do my eyebrows look
Right. Right.
perfect. I just hope that somebody gets a laugh out of it. That's my main content. And so I would definitely say sharing, parts of your life. I actually make a lot of like industry jokes about our sales
Sure.
associates and stuff like that. My husband is always like worried that I'm gonna offend them, and I'm like, "They know it's true, that's why they're gonna
Right.
laugh."
Right.
But, so yeah, definitely have fun with it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be another job.
No, I agree 100%. And I think that when you can integrate humor into what you do, which is what you do a lot of, just sharing normal sort of day in a life. You shared
Mhm.
something the other day where you were trying to get to the airport, you fell, you got hurt. It was a longer video than I'm used to watching on TikTok, but I watched the entire thing. It was several minutes long because it was intriguing to me. It was interesting. You were talking about uh, being at the airport, which I'm at the airport not as much as some people, but I do fly several times a year and I have anxiety in the airport. I wanted to hear this story because I think everyone's been in that situation where they hate to be late for a flight. And you went through this whole thing where you fell, you were hurt, you were still running through the airport, and I think it resonated for a lot of people. That's something that not only people in the industry can relate to, but outside the industry as well. And just showing that you're human. You have days like everybody else. You have bad days, and it's humbling and it's humanizing, and people want to see that in somebody that they may potentially do business with. They want to
Yeah.
see that they're more than just someone's going to try to sell you something. You have kids. You deal with the normal rigors of life just like anybody else. And if you could do that with your social media, and you can kind of show that, and that you're more than just a brand or a logo, then I think that's going to really resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah, actually, surprisingly, it's been a few videos like that where I just talked about how promotional products saved the day. One of them was a couple months ago. I had a water pipe start leaking in the middle of the night, and so we had to fill up a bunch of drinkware with water so that we'd have water for the next day because we had to shut our water main off.
Hmm.
And so I made a quick TikTok about that, and then there was another one where my regular lint roller, just the traditional roly
Hmm.
kind, just gave out. It wasn't having it, and I had white lint all over my black shirt, and so I had these promotional travel lint rollers
Oh,
that I
nice.
was like, "Hey, look!" And I said it didn't take much, and I've had this in my bag for like 5 years, and it came in clutch.
I thought you were gonna say they were sticky notes. You probably use
It
like,
was a sticky
oh,
note
what's
type.
that?
Yeah, yep, that's what it was.
That's awesome. You probably used a million of them. But
Yeah.
that's really cool. So now I think this next question is pretty obvious, but if you could just use one social media for your business, which one would it be? I think I know the answer to this one.
Yeah, it would 100% be TikTok. The feed is so easy to consume. It's actually they should probably start a TikTok synonymous because you can get lost in it. But it's so easy to consume, so easy to interact with other people, and I like video content. I actually like reading like books and things like that, but I love short form video content. So that would
I
be my
agree with you.
100%.
I think that if you join TikTok's anonymous, I think I would be right there behind you because since I started, you know, with TikTok about a year ago, I've noticed that my screen time per week has shot up to something I'm embarrassed to admit, something like almost 10 hours. a week where I'm like I'm on the phone, and it's like it's all because of TikTok. But you're
Yep.
right, I do get a lot of useful information on a TikTok. It's not like it's just completely vapid content that is killing my brain cells. There's a lot of useful information, and the algorithm is such that if it gets to know what you like, it'll continue to feed that type of content to you. So if you're interested in X, Y, and Z, or you're interested in promotional products information, if you follow a lot of people in this industry, you're going to get served content that is hopefully relevant to you.
Yes.
Plus, it sucks you into these wormholes of, almost every clip of every movie of every TV show that's ever been made is now on TikTok. So you can really easily get sucked into being interested in a show that you may not have ever heard of. So yeah, I mean it can be wasteful, but there's utility to it. And I never thought I would say that people in our industry should be on TikTok, but 4 years ago I said TikTok would never be right for this industry, and I'm eating my words, and I'm not afraid to tell people that I have the podcast to prove it. I said no way, TikTok is not right. Now I agree. I think TikTok is where a lot of people in this industry are doing really good things. So if you're not on TikTok, I highly suggest that you do get on TikTok, especially if you want to see what Christine's creating. She's creating a lot of great stuff. And also, it's interesting to note that there's been a trend not only in this industry but outside the industry where people will uh, create personal profiles that represent their brand because
Mhm.
not it's not easy to be just a brand. So example, American Solutions for Business. It's a corporate account. There's a lot of people that work for ASB, um, and a lot of them are like yourself. You represent a certain niche, so they create these profiles that are like sub brands. They're sub
Yes.
profiles of the brand, and I see this in the industry a lot. And I can name a bunch of people who are doing this and doing it well, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, where it's like Christine from ASB, and you are
Mhm.
doing Instagram or you're doing TikTok, and you're creating content that way. So it's almost like you're pushing the corporate brand, but you're also pushing your personal brand. And I think if you're a salesperson in this industry, that's the sweet spot. That's how you do social media right in this industry. You are you, and you represent the brand, whether or not you're in groups, whether or not you're doing it um, on any of the platforms. If you represent yourself well and the brand well, people would rather be engaging with a human. And that's kind of where I would preach now. If you're going to do social media, um, you know, create a personal page and represent the brand.
Yeah. Well, and so speaking from a little bit of an odd side of the coin, as a home office support person here at American, I'm also using TikTok to kind of create awareness of American for people who might be interested in coming to work here,
Right, right,
either
right.
as a sales associate or as an employee. So, if you're trying to recruit, I think TikTok is a great place to do that as well because there are tons of talented
Hmm.
people. Especially if you're trying to recruit for a social media person, go look at TikTok because that's where your next superstar is going to be. But there are lots of people who are not afraid of posting what they're looking for in a job or in a place to hang a career. And so it can be used for more than just selling your product or selling your brand or creating awareness around your brand. And also, I use it to keep in touch with my customers and what's going on with them. So I know more about the automotive industry today because I'm on TikTok watching content that's put out by hopefully what will be my customers.
Right. And I mean, you couldn't have said it perfectly myself. I mean, what you just said was perfect. It was social media doesn't have to be just one direction.
Hmm.
um, you mentioned the recruiting. I interviewed a supplier. This was going back a year and a half probably, and supplier in Philadelphia, and they had trouble. This was during like when with the great, what was it called, the great
Recession.
not recession, where all the people stopped working. What was it called?
Oh, I remember it being quiet quit, but
Quiet quit, yeah. So a
yep.
lot of people, like, they were having trouble filling a position, multiple positions. So one of their marketing people, and they work in this amazing facility, just the place is so cool. She did a day in a life. Like, this is what it's like to work at this place. And she did a video. It took a while for her to do because it was really well done. And she mentioned that, like, they're looking to hire. And the next day they had like uh the video had like 50,000 views. She woke up and she was like, "Oh my god!" They had all these comments. By the end of the week, they had over 100,000. They had so many resumes that came in because of this one TikTok that they made. So yeah, you're not only you don't have to use it just for brand awareness and sales. You can also use it to recruit. And I think a lot of people, including ASI, we showcase the people that work there. We showcase what the company's about, all of the amenities and benefits and all that you can get by working there. So you could do a lot with your social media, not just for revenue.
Yes, yep, and I would say, for anybody who's giving the keys to somebody in maybe like the millennial or Gen Z generation to run the social media account, let them be a little risky. Let them create maybe that content that you'd say, we probably wouldn't put that on Facebook because people are pretty laid back on
Right.
TikTok, and
Right.
they actually like the a little bit more risky content that you might have a swear in it or something
Right.
like that.
Right.
I'm not saying be vulgar, but um, Gen Z and millennials are for sure on TikTok, but I see more Gen X coming onto TikTok and really embracing it as well and doing well with
Sure.
the content creation. And so uh, this is where the end users and the buyers are, and the people that you might want in your workforce.
Right. I agree. I think that it's more buttoned down, where or unbuttoned, I should say. It's everyone's very loose, and if a
Hmm.
lot of the trends there are curse words, and don't be afraid to integrate that. We're all adults here. It's I mean, if it doesn't represent your brand, that's fine, but
Right.
don't be afraid of jumping on trends that maybe are a little bit risky.
Hmm.
Just think, hey, you know what, you're going to get a lot of views from this. And if you jump on trends, they may not be the right views, but you're still going to get that brand awareness. Don't worry about any uh, blowback from a curse word or two. I don't think that's ever harmed us. We try not to integrate that type of um, content into our posts. Certainly my live streams, if you drop a bad word or two, I don't care.
Right.
But it's again, we're all human, and we're having a real conversation. So, but yeah, I think TikTok is really the network that you should be paying attention to in 2023. So, do you have any final thoughts before we end about you know targeting the automotive industry?
Yeah, I would say definitely, no matter what platform you're on, I highly recommend social media to target the automotive industry. No matter what platform you're on, they are on it as well. So they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram, they're on Facebook. Go follow them, engage with their content, or just observe, because that's really going to help you. Get your finger on the pulse of what's going on. And certainly, if you're on TikTok or Instagram, definitely follow me at Auto Marketing, and that's MKTG Chick. And I'd love to chat sometime if you want to talk about content creation. So, yeah.
Yeah. And what is your ad on Instagram?
Oh, I think it's the same,
Is it? Yeah.
but don't quote me on that.
No, and look, if you just search Christine Fisher, you should come up. It's Fisher is Fischer.
Yes,
Um,
thank you.
yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you're doing really good things on TikTok, and like you said, you repurpose a lot of that um, onto Instagram. But yeah, this has been a really great conversation. I hope everyone listening got a lot out of it, and we will have the archive of this next week. I'll make sure I'll include your TikTok profile uh,
Thank you.
in the write up so that people can find you on TikTok and check out all the good things that you're doing.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I had a great time.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time today, Christine.
Have a good one.
All right. Take care, everyone.